Okay, that's us on now. So, who wants to do a recap of what happened the last time we played, like a month ago now? And probably with a bit more of like a bit more of the before as well, because Finn's not been here for a little while. Um, go.
All right. We're currently on a quest that was given to
Quest?
Lida. Yes. Who was it? Emma, who gave the quest?
Firefolk.
Firefolk.
Spirefolk.
Spirefolk. All right. Spirefolk gave Lida this quest to go check out what's happening at Stormguard Keep because they hadn't been in contact for a while. So Lida went up and then like by herself there, and then Rurak, Hrafn, and Muir tree strided tree strided to Rel to pick up Malbrin. Then from there we wind walked to Shadowguard Keep. And no one was really there. So then we wind walked again the next day to further up north where we thought they were going to be, or where we were told they were going to be. And there's a big old army camp. There's lots of tents, lots of people in there. There's a big floating spinning ball that seems to be magical. Spoten ball.
It's spoken.
And that is taking away a lot of people's magic,
Mhm.
Especially arcane-based magic. It seems that Rurak's religious and Raffin's druidic magic seems to be less affected. Can't remember exactly about Muir, but we kind of... So what happened is Muir and Lida went to go check out what was going on with the orb, and then whilst midair, hanging out above the orb, a whole ass anti-magic wave thing blasted out from the orb, and then they went plummeting down, and then there was a whole scramble of the rest of the team kind of coming down the hill, trying to find Shadowguard, fighting people in the camp. There was a whole kerfuffle. And basically what's ended up happening now is everyone is out of the main army camp area, and they've all kind of together now at this orb. But there's also the bishops, and these really old sentinel mechanical or statue type things. I can't exactly remember. One thing we do know about him is that one got an attack on Rurak, and Rurak kind of de-aged a little bit, got a little bit younger, and also lost a level. So there seems to be some time fuckery with them. Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
That was a pretty cohesive recap. Actually, that was pretty
Cool.
Pretty much covered most of it. Where's Melbourne right now?
In the Nethergloom.
Yep.
With a fam.
Yep. So Melbourne got banished. Melbourne's in the Nethergloom now. What other stuff? So yeah, when we had finished off these statues that the orb was suspended above had cracked and shattered, and from out of those statues had emerged these 4 golden constructs, and they were kind of like clockwork. They have 2 pairs of wings on their back, also kind of clockwork wings, and they have a sort of like a sundial for a face and swords for hands. And all of you had kind of felt this, certainly all of the main PCs who were here, so Muir, Lida, Rurak, and Hrafn, had all felt this kind of sense of deja vu, as if you had seen these things before, or that you were kind of like going to see them, or you kind of had a strange reaction. But Muir did remember specifically having seen one before, and there's 4 constructs, and one of them seems to be hell bent on each of you. Muir is nearly dead. You're still in the anti-magic zone. The anti-magic zone is slightly weaker than it was before initially, but it's still, most of your spells still can't go off. And Rurak did get brought down 1 level. Also, when you had arrived up here, you had kind of been pursued by forces from the army camp, who you temporarily waylaid, but are, it's certainly reasonable to expect are going to make an appearance shortly and be hot on your heels. So I think that kind of covers most of the sitch. So if I bring us back to the map, so let me get it straight in my head. So what happened last time? So we're at the top of round 2 of the combat, and Rurak's construct had flown at him and hit him twice, and then nicked 1 of his levels. And Thea, who is Matt, you're playing Thea, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt's playing Thea, and Thea had charged in, and Muir had ran away, and Finn, you were playing Price before. Price hadn't really done anything yet. So I guess let me switch this over to the map scene, and let me change the tunes because the tunes have stopped for some reason. Let's change them to the combat tunes. So yeah, we'll finish this round and then we'll check in with Malvern and see what's going on with Malvern, probably. And then we'll come back and see how the situation is. So it was Rurak's constructs go, and he hit Rurak and delivered 2 strikes with his sword hands. One of the swords on all of these is longer than the other, and Rurak had the sensation of kind of being thrust backwards into a kind of a younger headspace. Some of your recent memories are a little foggy. You generally don't feel kind of as juiced as you normally are. And so that is your one's go. So then it is going to be the...
Sorry, Jake. I was wondering if I could use a reaction?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What reaction
I believe the one where I can zap him because he hit me.
Yes. Now, I have a feeling you did that last time, but I don't remember.
Did I do it last time?
I have a feeling we had this conversation, but I don't totally remember.
If I did, the effect I want is to push him away. Because
Sure.
there's the whole, if I deal lightning damage, I can push him 10 feet backwards.
Okay. Yeah, I don't actually see any... I feel like we would have seen... yeah, no, so you rolled 2d8, right? Is that
Yes.
the damage for the thing?
That'll be the damage, yeah. So if we've already done the damage, that's cool. But I was wondering if it'd be okay to apply the pushing effect, if possible.
Yes. What is the dex save on it? Because he rolled an 18 looking back at the chat.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to find this.
So I have a feeling you tried to do that on his first thing, and it had done damage, but it hadn't pushed him back, and that was how he managed to hit you with the second attack. I think.
Okay.
But I may be wrong.
It may take me a little minute if you want to continue.
Okay.
Do what you're doing, and I'll let
Okay.
you know.
So yeah, that dude is in a somewhat nebulous position, depending on what happens. But it is so. In terms of so there are these 4 golden constructs here. There are also 4 of the Red Order biggins. So there's the main dude, the Betrayer, is here. Also 2 bishops and one of the fallen Shadow Guards, or Crester, is here as well. And they had kind of stood around fairly slack-jawed the last round because it seemed like they were all equally surprised that these dudes had turned up out of the statues. But now they're kind of no longer super surprised and they kind of are acting again. And so the big guy is going to move here. And he's gonna attack Thea.
Hang on now. What?
I mean, yeah.
Jake, what kind of elemental did I turn into?
It says an air elemental.
Right, cool.
So he's gonna make a great sword attack. What is your armor class, Thea?
18.
18. Okay. So he is gonna smite you. So
Son of a bitch.
Oh no.
So you're gonna take 45. How many of them are sixes? So it's another 2d6s.
52.
So it's gonna be 52.
Oh, it sounds like there's more.
Yep. He's gonna attack you again.
Dearest. Ooh.
With an 18. For another 33. Are you still standing?
Yes.
He's gonna hit you again.
Fuck's sake.
So 15 doesn't
hang
hit,
on.
I assume.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so he's gonna use his last attack. And a 22 is gonna hit you. For
Just
another
about.
34.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That's a lot of damage.
Killed me in one turn.
Wow.
You dead?
I don't think I have any reaction
Unconscious.
or anything that would stop this. So,
I don't know. I
no.
don't remember what your sheet.
I'm looking through. I've been looking through the whole time. I haven't come across anything yet.
Okay.
Do we have a grand plan, or are we running away?
Do you want an opportunity to discuss any kind of grand plans,
Nah.
pals? Because it's been some time since we played.
I think running away is the top priority. It's just getting into a situation where we can running away. Yeah. I can cast a spell. If I can cast a spell. I can take, what is it? I think it's up to 5 other creatures. You and any creatures one sec. Up to 5 willing creatures. You and up to 5 willing creatures. So 6 of us can teleport out of here, hopefully.
I can also teleport maybe if the thing is being less powerful now. But we all need to be grouped.
Yeah, we need to be grouped. So everyone needs to get together as soon as possible. Yeah, that's the short of it, really.
Okay. So has this guy any other shit he can do? Not right now. Yeah.
Already
So
dead. What more do I need?
so you guys watch as Lady Thea charges in. You were charging towards like Mura, weren't you?
Yeah, all I remember is I had a plan. I don't
Sure.
remember what the plan was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had a plan, and now you're unconscious. So.
Probably wasn't the plan.
Sure. So, so you guys watch as Thea charges in the direction of Mirror as these, golden constructs are bearing down on her, or, one of them is. And then as she runs, you watch as the main dude, the betrayer, kind of walks, to intercept, and he delivers these, 4 huge strikes with his sword, and Lady Thea just crumples, goes down. There's into there's a red pool on the snow. So Raffin, is you. There's
Our plan is our plan to get out then, was to group up. Was that what we decided?
Just grouping up is the best thing to do here.
So form on you sort of thing, so I'd be better disengaging. Or
Yeah, probably.
Jake, if I disengage, he has attack of opportunity, is that right?
Not if you disengage. If you use your action to disengage, then he doesn't get to make an attack of opportunity.
Alright, well, I'll do that then. I'll use my action to disengage, and
Okay.
then I'll head towards Rurak.
Okay. So you
So
can
I can
move.
group with him.
Yeah. I need to unpause the game for you to be able to move. So you should be able to move to where you want to move.
Jake, I did find the rule, and I was able. You're able to just push back 10 feet when you deal lightning damage.
Sure. Okay.
So I don't know if that's going to affect how Rena approaches this, because I was planning on pushing this guy back
Well,
10
okay.
feet.
Well, do you want to ping where you want to push him?
I mean, I suppose if I can choose. So how do I ping again?
You just click and hold.
Just click and hold. Ah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Is that possible?
Yeah, over there. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Sure. Yeah. So Raven, you can move wherever you want to move.
I shall move. I'll put myself in the middle between Rurak and is that Lida?
That's Lida.
Like about there-ish?
Yeah, you should be able to just drag yourself where you want to go. There we go.
Oh, cool. I like it. Zoomed like that. That's cool.
Okay. So it's I didn't want to. Okay, so it is Thea. Can you give us a death save?
Is there a thing on the sheet for that?
That's a good question. I don't
Oh,
know.
just roll a d20. I feel like
I mean,
there
start
is.
with that.
I think there is something on the sheet.
Yes,
I feel- yeah.
found it. 11.
Okay. Yeah, so you cling on
11.
to life for the moment.
Nice.
And
No.
then it is one of the other bishops. So this dude is a kind of like a tiefling in red robes. What's he gonna do? Let me have a look at his stats here. We can do that. Yeah, okay, yeah, you gotta do that. Okay, so I mean, he's probably gonna target Lida. Lida's he knows who that is. It's not giving me an attack roll. What's your armor class, Lida?
15?
15. Okie dokie. So he's gonna hit you with his first attack for 19.
19 damage.
19 damage. It is what kind of damage is it? It is psychic damage. Then that means he gets an advantage on his next attack, which doesn't do him much good. And so he doesn't do him much good, but does him enough good to be able to hit again for another 13. And then another 21, so he unleashes these, he kind of like floats into the air, and he kind of points at Lida and unleashes these like 3 blasts of kind of pale blue light that jet out from his hand and slam into Lida. And is there anything else he's going to do on his turn? He can't really do anything else on his turn, so that's him. And then it's the other bishop, who you guys haven't seen before and don't recognize. She's this kind of elf-looking woman, has this kind of like grey hair, and she. Can I write down what she was going to do? Oh, I mean, you guys are all grouped up. You're probably just gonna cast Fireball.
I attempt to counterspell that.
Go for it.
I don't know. It's arcane spelling, not cleric spells.
Oh yeah, it is arcane spelling. I think it just doesn't work right now.
Okay.
So yeah, you can still feel this connection as if like you have your connection to Atar is still there. You can still like he's like up in the you can see him in the window on the 15th floor up in this the high-rise building next to you. But like your spells are like in Botswana or somewhere, and you have no idea. So she is gonna. How does this work? So I need everyone in that circle to make a dexterity saving throw.
Like, Rex just kind of backing up, looking at that thing that just de-aged him a little bit, and now there's a giant fireball happening behind him. Oh god.
Did I just click on the dexterity to get the saving through, yeah?
I think so. Probably the word dexterity.
What was the roll it did again, sorry?
A dexterity saving throw.
I'm absolutely down after this.
Okay, so Raffen and Prius, you guys only suffer 18 fire damage. Morgan suffers the full 37 and goes down.
Did I just take that 18 off the temp hit points, yeah?
Yeah. And then Lydia, you said you're down as well.
Dead
Right?
hit points, is that what I mean? 100?
Yeah, sometimes just
Sure. So yeah, this elf woman kind of makes this gesture with her hands, similar to the one you've seen Lydia do before when she's about to unleash hell on people, and she pulls this little marble of flame and throws it forward, and it sails through the air and detonates at Lydia's feet and blossoms into this like small mushroom cloud, and kind of the flames kind of they bloom for a moment and then they die down, and you can see after the dust settles that Lydia is on the ground. She's all scorched. Morgan has collapsed. Prius is, I think, still holding on, but is obviously very singed. I didn't save for Tidius either. How's he doing? Nope. So he's on that many. Tidius is still standing, but looking he looks like he's just shat bricks, basically. He's like, God, fuck, we're here, I can't do anything. Just been hit by a fireball. So then it would be Lydia. So can you give us a dex save? A death save, please, Lydia.
Yep. Nat 20.
Okay, so you get back up with one.
Hey.
Yeah, so you guys watch as this woman hurls this little marble of fire, and it explodes into this mushroom cloud, and then the dust settles, and you see Lydia's on the ground, and Morgan's on the ground, and Prius and Tidius are staggering back, and Raffen's sort of like a soot elemental right now, and then Lydia, you watch as Lydia kind of comes to again, so yeah, it's your turn, Lydia.
I just realised I took the hit points off of my wood elf, not my elemental, but I'll keep track of it.
Oh, I forgot to say before I went down, could I have used my reaction? I've got a cleric thing now where when someone deals damage to me, I can use my reaction to blind them.
Sure, yeah, okay, yeah. Does she have to do anything?
Well, no, it's like they get a disadvantage on their next attack roll.
Okay, sure.
They just have to be a creature that can be blinded.
Okay, sure. So she isn't blinded, but she has.
No, she has
she's
a
semi-blind.
disadvantage. Yeah.
Let's put a little symbol. That'll do. Yeah. So yeah, you get hit by it's the first time for some time that you've actually been hit by one of the spells you put out, and they're pretty potent. And you land with a thump, and then darkness washes over you like a black steers took us on a moonless prairie night, and then you kind of come back, you blink open again, and you're in a puddle of slush in the snow.
So it still feels like I can't do wizard spells yet. It still has to be.
Doesn't feel like you can do wizard spells now. You can also probably see from your perspective, like where you land when your eyes open. You also can see Morgan unconscious, like in your direct line of vision.
Shit. I was going to heal myself. Let me find the spells. It's all muddled up with other spells. I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Go for it.
Third level.
Can you give us a religion check?
Religion. 22.
Yeah, you can get off. Fine, that's alright.
Wins at third level. Did it do it?
Yeah, you just gotta press the healing button. There you go.
Oh, nice. 24 hit points back to me.
Nice. Anything else on your turn? Are you moving anywhere or anything?
Is Beacon of Hope still up?
I don't think so.
It only lasts like a minute, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
I'll live. Alright. I don't know. Live now.
Sure. Okay, anything else from you?
I don't believe so. I don't think I have any bonus actions. I'm gonna try and focus on my staff and be like, can you please start working? Can you please start working?
Sure. Yes, you guys see this big explosion go off, and then the dust settles, and then it kind of pulls herself to her feet, mutters a little prayer, and then runs, like, muttering at her staff as she goes. Rurak, it's you. So you've just
Dear.
You're only a level 13 dwarf
Yep.
now. The back of your, you feel you've lost a little bit of hair at the back, from the singeing. There's maybe your cloak smoking or whatever a wee bit, just at the back of you. What are you doing?
Not a comfy situation. Okay. Let's have a. I think I know what I'm gonna do. So I think I would like to cast Fog Cloud,
Mhm.
and I think I'm gonna cast it at 3rd level.
Okay. What's that do?
So normally it's a 20-foot radius sphere,
Mhm.
but it gets an increased 20 feet for each spell slot above 1. So that's another 40 feet. So it's a 60-foot radius sphere.
Okay. That's pretty big. Sphere.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna center it like probably. Actually, right about there. How do I make a big sphere again?
So if you go, there's a pair of rulers like this, I think.
Yes.
And then in there you should have a circle, and then you kind of put at the center.
Oh,
and
that's
you drag it out.
a bloody big
That is
fog
a
cloud.
large fog cloud.
That is. Okay. As I'm casting this, I'm going to say to everyone, like behind me, follow me, and can I start moving? Oh, I'm dragging more circles. How do I delete this circle? Hang on.
You gotta.
Got it.
There
Got
you
it.
go, yeah.
There we go. And I can move 25.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is there any sort of roll to see if I can cast this?
Give us a religion check. Good shout. I forgot.
All good. All good.
You need an 18.
Okay.
You get a
This
9.
is a +5. There we
Okay,
go.
you
That's
get
cool.
loads. So, yeah, you're fine. You get your. You
Easy.
kind of. I don't know. Do you do anything specific? Have you got any specific vibe in mind when you do your fog cloud?
I think I'm gonna try and like do like I'm gonna use Thulnir and like kind of golf swing the snow a little bit, and that kind of puffs up into a larger
Sure. Yeah.
fog cloud type thing.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice like powder snow. And, you know, get a good backswing on it.
Yeah.
You know, arcs gently into the air and then kind of sort of detonates and spreads out into this really fine particulate mist of snow.
Cool. Okay.
And then you begin making your way west.
Yes.
Anything else on your turn?
No. I just want to make sure that like everyone that's in this group is like, I'm just like, hey, come on, let's go. Everybody, follow me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rest of you kind of see Rek kind of making motions in the direction, you know, to the west, and then you watch him like hit the ground, and then there's this big, massive cloud of mist and fog and sleet kind of springs into the air, and you can't see Rurak anymore, but you do know the direction that he was going in. So it's Lady Morgan.
Do we have sending stones on us? Does Mir have one? I forget.
If you do have sending stones, they don't work right now.
Okay then, never mind. That's.
Uh,
Oh, can I whistle over Greybeak? As a bonus action?
You can definitely whistle, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Sure, yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So it's Lady Morgan. She's gonna make a death save because she's unconscious, which she just makes. That's her turn. So then it is the big fella's turn again. I don't know if he can do anything because he can't. So what does fog cloud means? That no one can see anything, right? Is that right?
Yes. Sorry, let me get the spell up. Fog cloud. Heavily obscured.
Heavily obscured. Okay, so he
The area is heavily obscured.
can't see any of you. So he can't do that one. Can you do this one? Nope, needs to see you for that one. Okay, yeah, he's gonna use. So he's gonna try and use the one that he doesn't need to see you for. Rurak, can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Yes. Okay. So does this work? And then saving throw, and then regular. Oh no, it's a nat 1.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you won't be too surprised to know that you don't make that one.
No.
So you hit up this bunch of snow into this fog, and you start running for it, legging it. Seems like it's gone off without a hitch, really. Everything's gonna be fine. You're gonna be able to get out of this. And then you hear this sound as something erupts out of the snow behind you, and then you feel a massive black gauntleted fist reach around your midriff, and then you get yoinked.
Oh no.
Here.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So it's Muir's construct then. But can't see Muir.
Feels like we're fucked.
Huh.
So it kind of stalks around a wee bit. Let's leave it up to chance a wee bit. So I mean, it did know where you were. So let's see if it. No, it seemed confused by the fog and doesn't. You can hear. So Muir, from your perspective, you're backing away from this crazy thing that killed your best pal when you were a kid. It's a mess. It feels like a bad dream. And then all of a sudden there's this fog springs up, and you can't see the thing anymore, but you can kind of hear it moving around, and it's sort of actually scarier when you don't know where it is. You can just hear this kind of clockwork ticking and clanking around. They sort of seem like they should have steam sounds coming out of them, but they don't. But you can just hear this kind of ticking clockwork sound, but nothing appears. And likewise, I mean, that dude's not going to get. Lydia, you see the one that was looking at you emerge from the fog, but it doesn't make it to you yet. And then, so Prius, then it would be you. So you have just been, a grenade's just gone off, basically. One of your close buddies is on the ground next to you, bleeding out. There's a wizard pissing himself just over the corner. The other wizard that you were here with, got blown up and then legged it. The dwarf was like, let's go this way, and then pointed, and then everything went all foggy and you can't really see, but you know roughly where he pointed. So where are you doing?
How do I do it? How far can I move? I've got 6 boxes.
You got 6 boxes, yeah.
I'm just gonna move over here.
Deeper into the fog.
Wait, what?
So the let me get rid of the. So the big kind of pale blue circle, that is an area of fog and mist, that Rurak kind of sprung up, and then he headed kind of in the opposite direction.
I'm gonna move out to near Rita.
Sure. Okay. Are you leaving Morgan there?
Can I drag her out? She's down, right?
She's down, yeah.
Can I drag her out with me?
Yeah, sure, yeah. You can drag her with you. You probably don't get all the way. Probably get more here. You're dragging a body as well.
So I'm kind of just emerging out of.
Yeah, you're just kind of emerging. And you see Lila next to you, where you're coming out. No sign of the dwarf. And you kind of expect he should be here by now, or at least be visible.
So we can't see what's in the circle or what's out of the circle?
If you're in the circle, you can't see anything.
Oh, I see, right, okay. So I wouldn't know where Rurak is?
Nope. You sort of hear this sound like something like a big kind of earthquakey sound, kind of to the north of you, but that's about as much as you know.
But would I be able to tell where, Everyone else is gone.
You only know the direction that Rurak pointed to before he made all the fog happen. Which was... he was heading over this way.
No one saw me get nabbed as well, right, Jake?
No.
Yeah.
So realistically, I'd probably head for the direction Rurak was saying.
I mean, that would make sense. Anything else for your
just
turn?
like I would want to swoop in and
No.
get Rurak, but obviously I wouldn't know where he was.
Yeah. It's not your turn for a while anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Rathan's construct, who kind of wanders around, I guess, like here. You can also hear this kind of clockwork sound kind of heading towards you-ish, but you're not entirely, you don't see anything, any source to it. So Muir, it's you. You are outside of the fog. You can hear this clockwork guy ticking towards you, and you can see one of the clockwork guys kind of off over here, but that one doesn't seem to be paying any attention to you, and you know that all your pals were kind of southwest of you. So what are you doing?
None of my artifacts, magic items work, do they?
Nope.
Not even starting to work?
Not even really starting to work.
Well, I still probably continue to beeline off into the north. So I'm still real scared of the big boys. I just dash forwards, I guess, north. Is there any tents or anything nearby?
So you guys are kind of on a ridge. So the ridge kind of like kind of beyond the north, and like kind of the northwestern bit that extends beyond the map. That kind of goes mostly up into like mountainside, really. You can see tents, but they are kind of below you. You'd have to like leap off the cliff to get to them. Or
and I slide down the cliff.
It's more of like an overhang sheer drop kind of thing.
See. There's nothing else nearby I could.
How do you mean?
Is there like any other kind of structures or?
Not really. Like you're on a ledge that looks out over the camp.
Okay.
Give us a perception check.
9.
9. Okay, never mind.
I would like to, and to the right is just cliff face, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go beeline left then. So
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. Yoink.
Okay, so you're just
like
legging
my turn.
it. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So Lita, you can. So if you leg it over there, you can see Lita and Prius, and like Prius is carrying is like dragging someone, and you can see Tidius's robes kind of flapping in the air, where those guys are, kind of to your left as you're running. And so Lita and Prius and you guys can see Muir appear, running very much perpendicular to the current situation. So if anything else on your turn, Muir?
A little bit more crying.
A little bit more.
That's
crying?
it.
Okay. So it's the bad fella, bad knight. He is also in the fog. Was he smart enough to hear what happened with Rurak? I mean, he's a knight. He's probably just gonna move back in. So yeah, Rurak, you see this knight appear beside you, and then a dwarf has just appeared in his kind of vision. So how many attacks does he get? Ooh, okay. So does a 20 hit you right now?
I need to find where I noted how much my AC is. Hang on, record notes. I can't remember because I'm sorry. I don't have exactly.
I mean, you're not in plate mail with a shield right now, are you?
No, we did grab one piece of armor. I think it was just the chest piece. So that's half plate, is it? Or
yeah, I think we said it was a breastplate. So I think
there's a breastplate.
Let's say you're on 16.
16. Okay.
Have you got a shield as well?
That wasn't ever said, so no.
Okay. So yeah, you got 16. So he's gonna hit you for 18 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's gonna.
I'll use my reaction on him to push him back. That's alright. But he can probably just come back straight at me. But I'll still do the damage if that's okay.
Sure. What does he have to make? He has to make a save or something, right?
He does have to make some sort of save. Let me. When a creature within 5 feet of you can see. Can I see him?
Yeah, you can see him.
Okay, so he's going to take a dex saving throw.
He does not make that. So
cool. So that's 2d8 lightning then.
Okay.
So there we go. 3 damage. All right. Nice. I'll push him back the full 10 feet.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if how much movement he has left after that or not.
Does it say he can? Does it say knocks him prone or anything?
Just move him backwards, I think. Yeah. Yeah, you can push it up to 10 feet away from you.
Okay. But yeah, he probably is just gonna move. So he walks up and he hits you with his sword, and you're like, fuck! You kind of blast him back, and he goes skids back through the snow, and then he kind of he dusts his, he kind of shakes his armor, and then strides back, and he goes for another strike on you.
Okay.
So I'll say, so normally he would have another attack past this, but I think he's probably a bit too distracted by being pushed back. But 29 is going to hit you for another 22 damage.
So that's 40 total.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks about right.
Yep.
And then it's Tidius's go. So Tidius runs and he kind of puts a hand on the shoulders like, we need to go right now, we need to get out of here. And you can see he looks like he's a mess, and he's quivering with it. Do you say anything to him or anything?
I'll just say I'm not leaving anyone behind, but if you want to run.
He kind of makes some grumbling sounds that don't really evolve into words, and he kind of stays where he is. So that brings us to the end of that round. So let us zip through time and space to another dimension and check in with Malbrin. So Malbrin, you were in the cave, and the spider lady had a little chat with you, and then she had kind of vanished, and emerging into the light of the cavern, you saw Captain Rylandar, and I don't remember how many guards he had, 4 guards with him, a patrol of guards, and he had addressed you as his sister, and then had taken you into custody. So do you have any chat with him? Well, he starts, I believe he had started kind of processing you down towards Morntalos. There was a gap, and there was a point where you could see the city ahead of you. And you've seen Morntalos before, so you kind of know what it looks like. So he is just going to kind of largely take you to Morntalos. Are you having any chat with him or anything?
Probably not.
Sure. Yeah, so you can you kind of overhear them talking in a language that you don't understand, but with a certain amount of a venom to it, and it feels kind of directed at you. I should have said one of the first things he does when he kind of takes you into custody before he takes you anywhere as he kind of reaches down, unbuckles your belt, and takes his knife back. And he says, "It won't do to bring you before the matron so armed, not least with stolen blades." And he hooks his dagger back on his belt. And then they also are, they're taking you into custody, so they go through the usual motions of taking all of your obvious weapons. I'm assuming Malbrin probably has hidden weapons, as that seems reasonable, right?
I would say that seems reasonable.
Sure. But also, you just come from an adventuring scenario, so I imagine all your best weapons are still kind of on show, right? Where they're easily accessible?
Probably. I'm
Sure.
just looking at my inventory. I apparently have 6 daggers, a short sword, and 2 wrist bows.
Okay. They probably don't take your wrist bows off you because they probably don't know what they are. So they probably leave them there. They will nab you have another magic dagger, right? Your dagger of venom?
Yeah, I've got Pallor, Dagger of Venom, Darius's short sword, and 4 generic daggers.
Okay. Well, they definitely take the magic daggers off you. I assume you can't really hide a short sword, so they'll nab that. And probably... So you had 4 daggers? They probably managed to take 2 of those daggers. But I guess you have other ones like hidden in a boot or something. Like your emergency daggers and your emergency dagger. So yeah, they strip you of your obvious knives and ammunition, and then they kind of take you down to Morntalos. There's some chat en route from them to themselves. You definitely get the impression that Captain Rylandar is the dude with the authority here. And he doesn't really have much chat for you. At one point he does ask, where are the rest of your Sunlighter friends?
They're upstate.
So how did you get here?
I don't really know, to be honest. We were doing stuff, and then magic, and then I was here.
Yeah, that answer doesn't seem totally satisfying. He kind of grumbles. But yeah, they take you kind of down through this cave system. Basically, it's kind of like it is through a passage through like caves and stuff, but it's also like paved like a road. And you kind of head down from kind of a higher altitude caves and down, and eventually you get processed through until you were standing at the gates of Morntalos. So you've seen Morntalos from a distance before when you guys came down through the Black Tower, and you've also seen Canacera, the one with where you first met Captain Rylandar. The city is substantially larger. It's quite it's of an equivalent size. It's probably a bit bigger than like Royal Keep or something. Like it's quite big. And it's largely kind of looks like a normal city, if a normal city was just a bit edgier. So like as you're kind of taken in and through, you see like where cities on the surface have like horses or donkeys or like pack animals like that. They have spiders down here. And you also notice that like all of the spiders that you kind of pass by all kind of like prick up as you walk past and they watch you as you're going by. It has buildings and things like that like any other city. Most of the stuff down here is built from stone. They do have a kind of wood-like substance that seems like it's some kind of petrified fungus or something that they use for that. And all the streets are illuminated by these like the old-fashioned kind of like Victorian London lampposts, like kind of like gas lamps. It's kind of like that, except if the glass was filled with like a liquid, and there's like bioluminescent fungus in there that seems to be lighting this whole city. You can also see it's kind of like a Helm's Deep scenario, like there's a big this whole city is built inside a massive cave, basically, and it's built up against the back cave wall. So it's kind of like a, a semicircle wall, which is quite heavily patrolled. Almost all the metals that you can see down here, both in like the architecture and like the equipment that like the guards are carrying and things like that, and also in the manacles that you've probably been manacled with, it's like this kind of black metal which you don't recognize, but you kind of feel like you have some sort of vague memory of. And you are generally kind of processed upwards towards, like you can see kind of at the back of the city, there's a sort of like a palatial looking building. It's got lots of big like spikes and stuff on it because it's edgy, but it's kind of generally a big palace. And as you're getting processed up there, you kind of see various just kind of regular dark elf citizens, like probably the most dark elves you've ever seen in one place ever. And most of them kind of like look at, some of them are like, you attract a certain amount of attention. Some people are like, oh, they're just bringing in another criminal or whatever. Some people kind of like look at you and kind of look up and down as if you're kind of, as if they like notice something interesting about you. And at one point you witness this altercation. You can see kind of as you're kind of spending a bit more time in the city, you can kind of get the gist that there are two kind of, there are the dark elves that look like you, and then there are also, you remember that dude Scalus, the kind of like little golem motherfucker with 4 eyes. There's a couple of dudes that you see like him, who are kind of like elven but with like extra eyes. And at one point you witness this altercation, like as you're passing by, like the door to one of these houses gets thrown open, and one of these Scalus looking dark elves gets brought out, and then or just gets like thrown out and stumbles, and then from the building emerges like a dark elf that looks like you, and they got like a whip or something, like they've got like a belt in their hand, and they just beat the shit out of this guy until like you're passing by and just like wailing on him, until eventually he's just like limp in the alleyway, and then at that point you kind of pass out of view and you can't really see what happens after that. But it kind of, you generally like, this was, in any other city this would kind of be a fairly, just be an event, someone getting kind of like beaten to death in the streets or whatever, but no one really seems to bat an eye down here. But you get brought up to this palace, and as you get closer and closer to this palace, and it's kind of the district that the palace is in, you get this sort of sensation of deja vu, almost like as if you kind of recognize this area, but you don't remember like where from, like something way back in the mists of time. You feel like you kind of recognize some of this stuff. It feels kind of vaguely familiar. But you get brought into this palace. These huge big doors get opened. Big awesome big door sound echoes around, and you get brought into this throne room. You can see at the far end of the throne room there is this. Do you remember? Did you ever watch Arthur and the Invisibles?
No.
Okay, never mind. So at the back end of this hall, there is this throne, but the throne is like this huge crystal formation. It looks like it's made of like opal or something, like this kind of like milky white, iridescent crystalline structure. A seat has been hewn out of, and sitting on this seat is this kind of. I'm not sure if you've ever seen an elderly dark elf before, but there's an elderly dark elf woman, not that elderly, but like reasonably elderly, like to us it would be like someone in like their I don't know, their mid-60s or whatever, right? Sitting on this throne, and she kind of, as the door opens, this woman speaks and says, "What is the meaning of this, Kaelinmere? Your matron does not hold an open court for..." Then she looks at you and she says, "Who is this?" And Captain Rylandar says, "A wayward member of our house, Mother Morinel, the girl from Canacera." And then she kind of says, as you're kind of getting processed closer and closer, she says, Yes, I see the resemblance. Malara's child. and then kind of you feel at this point it's probably just Captain Rylandar, and he's kind of like he's processing you by the arm, and you kind of feel him like kind of bristle as she mentions whoever that person is, and he says, "Do not speak of," and then she kind of waves and says, "Leave us, Kaelinmir. Enough of your petulant chattering. Your sister will want to meet her matron properly if she is returning home." And Kaelinmir kind of like pushes you forward and kind of releases you, and kind of he looks at you, and then he kind of turns to leave. Are you doing anything at this point?
No.
No, you're just kind of watching it play out. Yeah. So he kind of releases you, and he turns around and he walks, and she waits for the footsteps to echo off and the door to shut behind him, and then she says, "Come closer, girl." And she's kind of sitting on her. There's like 10 feet between you and like the bottom of the stairs leading up to this big throne. What do you do?
Alright, I'll walk over.
Sure. She says...
Hold on, I think I need to, There we go. It's getting, my camera's getting too dark.
Sure.
So, there's me.
Okay.
Have you been drawing just now?
I drew it like half an hour ago because I was like, it's gonna get too dark.
Sure. She says, so you take a few steps forward, and then she says, "Kneel before your queen."
I kneel down.
You kneel down? Cool. Do you kneel down like are you just like, oh, sure, yeah, kneel down, or do you kind of like, is it kind of like, is there a certain amount of resistance to kneeling down?
It's not like I'm pretending that I'm just like, oh yeah, no problem. It's just, I think it's probably more like Malbrin is kind of a bit stunned at the minute, and it's just like, okay, cool. It's just like she doesn't really have a plan, so she's
Sure.
like, I guess I'll just go along with it.
So you're just like, okay, she says kneel before you queen. I guess I'll just kneel down.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, she like lets the moment hang for a minute as you kneel down. To the point where you're like almost like do I say something? Like it's kind of like that bit. And then she says, "Good. You've sense. Be at ease, child. You must have many questions." And then she kind of stands up from the throne and kind of begins walking down the steps fairly slowly. She's kind of looking at you as if she's expecting you to say something.
What does it look like she's doing?
How do you mean?
Like, is she just walking down?
It looks like she's walking down, kind of, sort of, to have a chat. Like it's kind of difficult talking. Like, the throne is quite big. She's quite far away at the top of it. So you can't really have you'd have to kind of like raise your voice a bit to talk up to her, etc. So she kind of, it's like she's coming down the throne so that you can more easily have a conversation, but she's still taking her time about it to kind of make you, make it clear that she's a big deal. She's on the throne. She's walking down to your level to talk to you, kind of a thing.
I'll just wait.
Sure. Yeah, she kind of gets to a kind of a more comfortable talking distance and then says, "Impressive, you found your way home all alone. Walking the gloam by oneself is not for the faint of heart."
Yeah, it's not.
I understand you made quite a mess in Canacera. Leaving your own brother for dead, I trust you've no intention to repeat such behavior here. You will find us far more cultured than the less cities and far less forgiving.
Well, to put the record straight there, he was the one that attacked, so he kind of got what was coming to him.
She kind of smiles, it's like a knowing smile. And she says, interesting. What of your sunlighters? They didn't accompany their mistress here?
Run that one by me again.
Is that Niall or Malbrin?
That is me.
Sure. She says, what of your sunlighters, which seems to be the term they use to refer to people from the surface. And then she said,
okay.
They didn't accompany their mistress here? Question mark.
That's not really the kind of party we're rolling, you know. That's not really how we're doing things.
Is that so?
Yeah. Free agents and all that, you know.
Interesting. That's by your choice, I assume.
Yeah.
Quiet thing, aren't you? Like your father, as I recall. Never said much, but always thinking. Always plotting.
I mean, our Heavenly Father gave us 2 years and 1 mouth, so makes sense. I probably would have said the equivalent of whatever gods.
Sure, yeah. She says, she certainly did. And she kind of walks, like, you know, she's been standing like 6-8 feet away, and she kind of walks up, and kind of regards your cloak, and she says, now, this, may I see it? And she kind of puts a thumb on, like, the shoulder pads of your cloak.
And like, I'm gonna take it off, or just to see it?
And like she'd like you to take it off and pass it to her, kind of thing.
I would probably just kind of like grab the end of it and like show it to her. Like, I wouldn't go to take it off.
Sure. She says, perhaps you didn't understand me. May I see it? And then like, she like holds your eyesight, and you get the impression that this lady can wait for a very long time. You know, awkward or no?
Probably proceeds to like hold it in front of like our eyes meeting, just like the tail end of it.
She says, it is highly irregular to deny your matron. You are regrettably not raised on Morntalent customs, so I will ask once more. Give it to me.
Okay, well you didn't say that, so okay. And then yeah, I'll take it off.
Sure. And you pass it to her?
Yeah.
Farrah's kind of like whispering in your ear. She's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's you can't give it to her.
What do you mean?
Not the spider says, who are you talking to? And she kind of takes it from you. And she kind of like there's kind of like there's like a sort of pent up tension in her that seems to like kind of wash out as she holds this thing in her hands. And she says, truly, you know not what you have brought us. I will ensure it is cared for as it should be. And then she begins folding it up, and you get the impression she has no intention of giving this back to you.
I mean, what are my options? Go along with it, or assault an old woman and take back my clothes, and then try and run away, and then probably get killed. I don't know if I have any other option.
Sure, so you just kind of letting it happen?
Yeah, I don't think I can do anything else.
Sure. She kind of begins taking a step back up the thrones, and she says,
Can I see when I talk to Thera?
Yeah.
Is it telepathic, or do I have to talk?
Ooh, that's a good question, actually. I'm not sure. I think it might be telepathic, actually. I need to check what the text on Find Familiar says. Yeah, you can. Yeah, telepathic.
Actually,
I
hate that I'm asking this. Would I be able to if she's taken the cloak?
That's a good. Oh, good. Yeah, no. All of a sudden, you just have the spider in your hair.
Hate myself.
So yeah, yeah, you hear yeah, like the last thing you hear through your little telepathic link is there going, "What are you doing? Don't give it to," and then it cuts out as you hand it over. And then yeah, you can just kind of like before it was kind of like a sort of a pleasant, like sort of almost like a scalp massagey sensation as she was like walking around in there, but now it's just like, "What's the spider man?"
I mean, I'm not gonna chuck her away.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, you're kind of more aware of it now. But yeah, you just have a spider in your hair right now.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know what else I can do.
Sure. Well, yeah, if you're just kind of letting it happen, then she kind of takes a step up away from you. There's a bit more distance between you. And she says, "Worry not, child. I will ensure you are rewarded justly for your contribution. Guards!" And then, you hear the door open at the back, and then people start processing in. That seems like a good place to cut back.
What the fuck?
So,
man.
So back in the north, in the fog and the snow and the mist and all that jazz, it is. Oh, he pulled you right next to the construct guy.
Oh no!
So yeah, that construct's having a great day.
Man, what a bad situation.
Okay, which order is he going to do this in? Well, he's going to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 21 first.
That'll hit.
So it's going to hit you for 17.
Okay.
And then he's going to attack. Oh, an 11 probably not going to hit you, so...
That's not going to hit.
Okay, well, you remain a 13th level cleric for right now.
Okay, okay. I took 17 hit points.
Yep.
Hits there. Okay, so 43 minus 17 is 26 left. Okay.
And then it's the big guys go. That's a shame. Well, I mean, he might miss.
That's a shame.
Yeah. That's all she wrote.
Okay, so well, a 27's not gonna miss.
That's gonna hit.
Nice.
Maybe he
So,
rolls all ones. There's
24?
a few ones. Okay, I'm still standing.
Still stand. I'm still standing. And then a 31. Does this
It'll
do-
hit.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry to inform you, Patrick, that this dude crits on a 19.
Okay, well if he rolls a
Oh
1,
my fucking
Holy
god.
So it'd be another 53 for you. Are you still standing?
No.
Okay.
What's
What is
2
your hit
minus
point
53?
maximum? 2 minus 53? Minus 51.
Yeah, my hit point maximum is 95.
95.
So I might be dead. Dead right now. Dead.
No, it's only if it goes double to your hit point max.
Is it not half?
Is double.
It's double.
Yeah. Double. You're not dead, you're just unconscious.
Alright. I'm
But he might
unconscious.
finish the job.
Oh.
Hey man, he plays as he plays. That's, you know.
I did think as well that something happened when you took like half your hit point maximum past when you went down.
We used
That's
to play with the system shock rule that if you take enough to drop you to half, then something bad happens. But I kind of stopped caring. Instant death. Okay. So you're not dead yet,
Okay.
but
Yet.
he's got 2 attacks left, and he's that kind of guy.
Yeah, no, that's okay, man. That's
So
okay.
he's
Is
gonna.
it okay though?
So he's gonna hit you. He's gonna attempt to hit you twice,
Okay.
which is
I'm
gonna be.
unconscious.
You're unconscious, so he's gonna have advantage.
Probably
On it. So
pretty
he's
hard
almost. It's
to-
gonna be really hard not to hit you.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah, it would yeah. He'd have to
What an
really
astonishing
suck to-
event it would be if he didn't.
Missed
Yeah.
twice.
okay. So you suffer 1 death saving throw failure,
Uh-huh.
and then he's gonna use his last attack
Okay.
Still needs your
with
net.
advantage. So you take another. So you're on 2 death saving failures. So
At this point, I'm sure you've done my hit points.
it's not how that.
Past.
It's not how that. It doesn't. It's not cumulative, right?
It's not cumulative.
That's
okay,
why I was
it's one
checking.
go, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't roll for damage or anything. So
I
if he
think
had
a fog cloud comes down as well.
Oh yeah.
the fog cloud does come down, yeah. So you guys,
fuck.
that's a good point. Thanks, Emma.
It's fair for us. I need to heal Rurik.
So yeah, so you guys are. The rest of you watch as the fog cloud kind of is like winded away, like passing gust of wind blows it away, and you can see standing in the middle next to the golden servitor thing is the betrayer, and he's got his sword like this, and he has run Rurik through, and he's like lifted Rurik, like Rurik is like slid up to the hilt on his sword,
Oh.
and then he like you watch as he like sloughs him up and like pulls the sword out, and Rurik like lands in a clump, blood pooling out of him in the snow. So that's his go. Oh, and then the fog cloud comes down. How far can this guy move? And then he walks on and over Rurik's corpse and comes
Oh
over here.
god.
And that's his go. So Fraffin, it's you.
I'm just trying to figure out if I could grab Rurak's body. What would that involve, Jake, if I was to like swoop as an air elemental? Can I pick him up actually as an air elemental?
I think probably. You can either pick him up, or you can you can punch stuff as an air elemental, so you must be able to pick him up. Yeah, you can pick him up.
Yeah, alright, then what would that involve then? Could I is it a conceivable thing? Would they get attacks on me?
They would get attacks when you leave. unless you use your action to disengage. So, if you used your action to disengage, you could probably get to Rurak and get part of the way back with Rurak. If you don't use your action to disengage and use your action to dash, then you could probably get to Rurak and get away with him, but you would suffer all the attacks of opportunity from those guys.
Now, can I get to him without dashing? I think I can, can't I?
How fast does an air elemental move? Probably quite fast.
Oh, I dug this up, hold on.
90.
90, yeah.
So you can move 180 if you dash, which would definitely be enough to get Rurak and get back to the others.
Right, how many can move if I don't dash?
You can move 18 squares.
It'd be 10 to get to and from where I am, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to put me right beside the Lidda. So I think I'll do that. I'll swoop there, grab Rurak, and head back. And I should have just enough to, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get Rurak, and then yeah, I'd be close enough to Lidda to get back, I think, without risking getting battered.
Okay, so yeah, so you kind of okay, yeah. So Raffen, you guys watch. So you guys watch as Rurak gets run through and then laid out on the snow, and then this dude like steps like kind of like just the weight of this dude's boot on his chest like crushes his breastplate. You see, and he's lying there totally unconscious, like probably dead. And he kind of walks forward, and Raffen whooshes forward as an air elemental and blows up this gust of snow, and things kind of lash out at him but don't connect or anything, and he scoops Rurak up and then arrives next to Lidda with Rurak.
Oh, wow, okay.
So Thea, can you give us a death save?
Where is Theo? Oh, over there. Shit.
Boom. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're still clinging on, just.
Nice.
And then it's one of the bishops. And you guys are really nicely bunched up.
Oh no.
Oh, that's a nice big clump.
Yeah, it really is actually. Yeah, I mean he's gonna cast Fireball.
And I desperately attempt to counterspell it.
Yes. You give us an intelligence check. You need a 20. Or a 21, actually. Arcana check, rather.
Oh, Arcana check.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be good.
I kept pressing buttons. I don't really mean to, but I don't think I ever could do it anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of you kind of feel like it's like it's there. If you could just reach out a little bit further, you could grab hold of it and stop him. But you watch as this dude pulls.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Can I use an inspiration?
Use an inspiration. Have you got an inspiration?
Yeah, I think so. I've got it marked on my sheet.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Oh.
Oh.
That is what you need.
Wow.
No, it's not a third level fireball he's using. What level counterspell are you using?
do I have a look at my slots? Okay, I don't want to use that one. I don't want to use that one. Probably don't want to use that one. Fire, counter spell, where are you? 4th level?
Okay. Can you give us an intelligence check? You need 15.
Funny.
Hey.
Okay. So, yeah. So you watch Lita. What is it? So, this dude starts pulling, the incantations that you recognize from long years of practicing and study, as being the about to open up a can of fireball will pass on you. So what does it look like when Lita,
I think for fireball specifically, especially evocation spells, the spell like goes off, but like Lita kind of absorbs it, and so there's kind of like a flow of the fire, like just kind of surrounds her instead, kind of like crackles onto her, and she just sort of diffuses it out.
Sure. Yeah. So, Prius and Raffin, you and Mira would see this as well. You watch this guy. He rolls his hands and pulls out this orb of fire, and he flings it, and it sails through the air, and you watch as it detonates, but then detonates like backwards into like this cone that gets like sucked forward into Lita's staff, and it doesn't. Everyone is perfectly fine, and he kind of looks really confused, and then it's the other bishop. So what's up with her?
They have this disadvantage on stuff.
On stuff. What kind of stuff does it say?
I think it's attacks.
Okay.
I used warding flare on them. Disadvantage on attack rolls.
And on attack rolls. Okay.
Also, after I use my reaction, I'm gonna look back to Tidius and be like, the connection's weakening. Get your ass in gear.
Sure. Okay. I mean, what's she gonna do? Is she gonna? So yeah, so literally you kind of see as, like both of these kind of bishops are kind of doing the fireball incantation. The one that you counterspell gets off first. As you counterspell that dude, the other one kind of looks like she changes her mind halfway through, and then she points at you. Can you make a Constitution saving throw, please?
Fuck! Constitution saving throw, you say?
That is what I say.
Oh.
More! I rolled a 2. Worst possible number I can roll.
Okay.
Woohoo!
So you feel your flesh begin to harden.
Oh no.
You are restrained right now. That's all that happens.
Oh. Okay. I thought you were gonna get disintegrated there.
Yeah, I thought that as well. Flesh turned to stone. That's something.
So that is her go. It's you. No, hang on. What happens with this? Okay. Yeah, it's you, Lita. What do you want to do?
Can I do stuff while restrained? How does that work?
I think restrained. Well, let me see. If you are restrained, your speed is 0. So you can't. So your speed is 0. You can't benefit from any bonus to your speed. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and your attack rolls have disadvantage, and you have disadvantage on dex saves.
I can still cast spells.
You can still try and cast spells, yeah. Yeah, you can feel your little halfling feet. Like you can't feel your toes anymore, and you feel like your muscles are starting to like seize up.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to cast a cleric spell.
Sure. What spell?
Cure Winds.
Okay.
I'm assuming I can do that on Rurak because Graffin's holding Rurak.
Yeah.
Funny.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll get off.
I'm casting it at 5th level.
Okay.
Let's peel it back to Rurik.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Sure. So yeah. So what is it? Does Lita like say anything, or like what does it look like when she does a cure wounds on him, while slowly being turned to stone?
Probably taking some of that residual like fire stuff that she's just counterspelled, and like it goes over Rurik, and like whatever frost is like biting at his beard and stuff all dissipates, and he sort of gets like more warmth to his skin.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So that conveniently it is Rurak's turn next. So Rurak, you kind of watch as this dude you get pulled, you get kind of tweaked around. The golden construct like gives a strike on you. You kind of push it away as best you can, and then you see this huge sword come sailing down. While you're fighting off the other guy as well, and then the sword comes down and clocks you, and then you're still standing, and then you get another one, and then he kind of like rears back and he plungers it through your chest, and you feel the metal like slide against your spine, and then everything goes black, and then you wake up, and it's really windy where you are. You're kind of, I guess, sort of being like held out by wind. You can see like it's really windy to your left, and then to your right you see Lita like bent over you, and you can see like the side of her face is starting to like the skin is starting to like patch up and like go like kind of stony. And it's your turn.
I think so like for a split second there, Rurak's like not sure if he's supposed to breathe in or out.
Yeah.
He's caught in between like an exhale and inhale. Then there's like this big old spit up of blood like on the snow and stuff. And then I think like seeing that there's actually friends around, he can get a bit more hold of his senses.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna take count. Well, he's gonna. Can Rurak be in this? Sorry, in trying in this space right here.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. He's gonna see that. He's got some of the Shadow Guard, Lita, and Fraffin with him, and then he's gonna try and like catch a glance at Muir.
Are you looking over this direction, Muir?
To be honest, beeline.
Sure.
Nothing but beeline.
Okay. I don't know if I can do anything or say. I don't want to like give her away, because I feel like I'm hoping that all those enemies are kind of like looking our direction in a way, maybe.
Yeah, everyone's kind of more focused on you.
I'm going to say like, Can I do like a prayer or a blessing, like a very like slight thing? Maybe it's like a bonus action if it's possible. For Muir, like a prayer, and
Yeah, you can definitely
ask
pray for
that.
her, yeah.
And I want to ask Altius if he can guide her, and specifically I'm going to like wish that Greybeak could maybe help her if she's able to run away.
Sure.
And then in like the same second, like I think Ruak's going to make the decision to try and teleport us all away.
Okay, go for it. So you gotta, if you're casting that spell, you gotta make a roll.
Okay.
You need an 18.
All right, here we go.
Roll good.
It's an 8. Do I get any like? Do I get proficiency? Do I
It's a
get
religion,
anything?
so you get religion, so you get your wisdom and your proficiency.
That's 18 then.
18.
That's gonna be 18.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my god! Thank God.
Sure.
Okay.
So
This is word of recall, and I think there's like this one syllable, very deep guttural word that like Ruak's barely able to like whisper out, like looking up at the sky, people are here, and yeah, once that word is spoken, hopefully maybe like some clouds could like coalesce over us and like a big thunderbolt maybe strike
sure, yeah.
on Ruak's chest or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so it goes down like that. Ruak kind of looks around, tries to catch a glance with Muir. Muir seems to be in her own headspace, doing her own, working through her own stuff right now. But he does a little prayer to Altheus, and there's a little kind of peal of thunder in the distance, and then he utters this ancient word, that kind of similarly to, you guys have heard gods talk before, and when they talk, it comes over like all octaves. And even though Ruak's talking very quietly because he's just been running through, and he's in a bit of a state, he utters this word that sounds across all octaves, and you hear this peal of thunder and this lightning bolt, this crack of lightning, and there's this blinding light springs up over you, and you guys can hear the ticking of these automatons, and then that ticking stops, and there's like an echo on it, and you are suddenly standing in the church in Meriden. You can hear the bustle of the city outside. You're in the middle of mass. You guys like erupt into the scene, and there's like, you can see like a priest in the like directly ahead of you, is like in the middle of reading, is like, and if we turn to Sam Fa, and then there's like everyone appears, and there's like, you just hear the sound of like papers rustling, and there's just like a beat for a moment as like all the regular citizens in this church look around at the two knights and the wizard, the famous wizard. They probably recognize the wizard, and then also this dwarf who's bleeding everywhere, and there's a cloud person in here, and there's also this little halfling with a big staff that's on fire, and they're all singed and covered in soot and grime and blood and snow, and they all just kind of like, they don't know what to do. What do you guys do?
I want to get a healing word off onto Morgan as soon as possible before I turn to stone.
Sure. Oh yeah, I meant to ask, can you give me another Constitution save?
Constitution 20.
Okay. So can you keep a tally of how many successes you get and how many failures? Like, you can put it in like your death saves or something. So that's a success.
So I've had one failure, one success.
I don't know if let me double check the spell, because I'm not sure if the first one counts as a failure.
Jake, you know how you said that you could see that Lida was turned to stone a little bit there, or like, does Ruak recognize that as? Because we've come across that before with the basilisk, right?
Was it Gorgon?
There was a Medusa. Yeah, you saw a dude who was a stoned but I don't know if any of you guys ever were in danger of turning to stone. I mean, it's pretty obvious to tell that she's turning to stone. You got stone cunning and stuff.
I feel like Ruak's like on the edge of passing out right now. But maybe like just before he does, can he like grab Lyta's foot and try and channel a greater restoration?
Sure. You got the diamonds for that?
Ooh, that's a point.
The first one doesn't count as the initial one doesn't count for, as a failure, Emma. So just keep track of them.
Okay.
You need 3 of a kind.
I take it. Lady
Why?
Lady Thea's dead then. Lady Thea.
Lady Thea.
Seems likely. We'll cut back
Cool.
in a minute and check in with Muir, and I guess we'll check in with Lady Thea as well and see how she does on the next save.
Bleeding on the floor.
Yep.
Apparently, I have 300 beard diamonds. So.
Okay, is that enough?
It doesn't say the cost. No, wait, it does. Sorry. Diamonds dust worth at least 100 gold pieces.
That's probably fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably just like grab my little vial and like, I don't know, try and crush it in one hand or something.
Sure, yeah.
It's diamond.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know the you kind of you pull this vial out of your beard. You crunch the glass in your hand, and the diamonds don't crunch obviously, but as you cast the spell, they kind of dissipate, and you're just left with that hand with shards of glass stuck in it.
Yeah.
And but you stop turning to stone. And all at this point, the people in the church are like they've come to terms with it, and then now they're all just freaking out. They're like, "Oh, get these people some help! Run away!" And they go away to try and get people, and the priest just like dashes over, and it's like he recognizes Rurak. He's like Master Dunforge, are you? What's going on?
Rurak has passed out.
Rurak's passed out. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm here wincing, Lady Morgan.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, actually, probably as you arrive in Meriden, you probably all feel a bit more jacked up now that your magic comes back, like your items turn on again, and all that sort of jazz. And yeah, you don't have to make any checks or anything, but you just pure Windsor. So she's kind of Prius had dragged her over, and then there was the teleportation and stuff. So she's probably like laying on the floor at this point, and you kind of you get over there and you kind of cure Windsor, lay hands on her, and cure Windsor, and then she kind of comes to, and so Rurek's passed out, Morgan's back up, Lyta's not turning to stone. Let's go back to the north. So Muir, you are running me. We're not really in combat at this point. The other, the bad guys have kind of, they're you hear this peal of thunder, and you maybe maybe there's a reflex to kind of like look at, oh, there's a peal of thunder happening. You kind of like look over and you kind of maybe catch just the most split second eye contact with Rurak as you see this peal of thunder happen and all your pals vanish, and you are left with, you can still hear this this ticking sound in your ears from this thing that's chasing you. All of the bad guys are kind of like, they're not like, where did they go? What happened? Kind of, but they're like, oh, motherfucker, they got away again. You can hear them like talking to one another. And then, could you give us... What were you doing?
Sorry. Running, and hopefully they're too busy thinking I'm not there to notice that I still am there. And
sure. Can you give us a stealth check, but rather than use your dexterity, use your strength for how far away you can run?
Okay, might be a cheeky +6 scenario. So it was a stealth, did you say?
Yeah.
With strength. Was it strength, sorry?
With strength, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there's a neat way to do that in Foundry. You might just have to roll
Do I
it.
just make a strength check then?
If you're not proficient in stealth, then yeah, just make a strength check.
Go. So this +6, so 21.
21.
Nice.
Okay, so you in the chaos, you manage to you're running with singular purpose, and in the chaos you manage to escape. You kind of get to like a tree line, like because it's a mountainside that it leads up to, but there is trees on it, and you can go a certain amount of the way up that before it gets steep and everything, and you start heading off. You leg it fully in that direction, and you feel pretty confident that they've either have bigger fish to fry right now, or they don't know where you are, or what. Like you don't hear anything from the bad guys, but you can still hear this methodical clockwork tick, tick, tick sound. And like looking over your shoulders, you can see this construct is still moving methodically after you. What are you doing?
Inconvenient. I'm gonna keep running until I can feel things turning back on again.
Okay. It's probably gonna be a skill challenge.
Okay. Okay.
To escape from this motherfucker. So it's gonna be a solo skill challenge. It's gonna be where's my pad?
Jake, I don't know if it's too soon at this point, but like maybe if Muir needs to help, Greybeak might be useful in a skill check. Skill challenge sort of situation.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Energy.
Yeah, so Muir, you're as you're running, you also hear hear this tick 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 sound, but also you this bird alights on your shoulder. You recognize and he kind of like he's a bird, so he can't. There's not a super, it's not a great depth of communication between you, but you get the sensation that this dude he's on your side. He wants to help you out. So
I've given this bird a pat before.
You've patted this bird before. You know who he is.
Yeah.
So. Sorry, I'm just making my notes. So it's going to be DC 18. You're going to need 5 successes before 3 failures. And you can use Greybeak to help you out and give you advantage on one check of your choice.
Okay.
So how are you going to try and escape this dude first? You're kind of just in the tree lines at the foot of the mountain right now.
Okay. I would like to start with investigation.
Uh-huh.
To find the best path forward.
Go for it.
26.
26. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of you've had a bird's eye view of this situation, of this area. You're like, okay, right, well, okay. And also you're in a forest right now. And the last time you escaped from this dude, you were in a forest as well. So you're like, okay, right, cool. Back in the headspace, for better or for worse. And you kind of spy a path that you're like, okay, well, I think if I cut over there, then that way the trees all run in this kind of like spacing, and that should kind of mask me quite well from him. So you kind of head off in that direction. You can still hear the ticking is a sort of larger than life thing. Like you don't really think that it corresponds 1-to-1 with how far away he actually is. It's more like you can hear the ticking in your head. So what are you gonna do next?
Animal handling to ask Greybeak to keep an eye out for bad guys, and I'd like to ask him for advantage too.
Sure, go for it.
15.
15. Okay. So you communicate that to him, and he's definitely is like, yeah, okay, sure, but he vocalizes that quite loudly, and you hear this kind of like clockwork, like chunk, as if something behind you is suddenly now a lot more aware of where you are. So you're 1 for 1. What are you doing next?
Do these things give off any kind of magical vibe at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, can I use Arcana to sense how far away he is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
22.
22. Yeah, so you focus in on it. There's kind of it's kind of easier because you're in an anti-magic zone. There's very little other ambient magic around, so you can kind of just feel the intensity of this thing's presence as it's stalking you through these trees. And you're like, okay, right, I know where he is, and fortunately he knows where I am. What's next?
That's all my good ones. I don't think I can persuade my way out of this. That's the only one I've got left. Survival? Yeah, I'm gonna use survival for obvious reasons, not slipping and dying in a cold mountainside. Darn.
Yep.
19!
19? Okay. Yeah, so you're like, right, okay. Just keep focused, you know, I can hear that. I know where it is, I know where I am, and I know that if I go over here, I will die, because I'll fall over, that looks like a ridge, you know, up there. I'm gonna head over here and kind of spot, like, a better path through. You're still in the forest, but you're kind of coming sort of, like, you're like in like a kind of a deeper section of it now, when the trees are a little thicker. What's next? You need two before you get two.
I will use nature to tell about trees. I don't know what to use nature for. Hold on. Find something else. Actually, it might have to be nature in some way. I use nature to it's finding the best way through the trees. Is that nature? No.
You've already kind of done that with survival and with investigation.
I will use deception to try and hide my footprints. Maybe like, you know, backtracking, so I walk one way and then walk back through my footprints and then off in a different direction. That
would probably be more of a stealth thing. You can do stealth for that.
Okay, I mean they're both +2, and that's all I got. Okay, so
yeah, that's
7. That doesn't work.
Sure. Yeah, so you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just backtrack and I'll let you know. Go over back and I'll confuse it. And you backtrack and then you kind of backtrack and like, okay, yeah, I'll just go up here and then that was where I came out there, and I'll turn around and then he won't know. And you get up to the point where you're about to turn around, and then he comes out from behind the tree, and there's this singing swing of steel whistles past you, and he is real close, and you kind of realize at this point, at that point also, that you're like, this dude doesn't have eyes. He's not tracking you via footstep. So you need 2 before you get 1.
Can I use nature to the local animals there? Are there any that I could lead him to, and maybe they'll distract him, or that I shouldn't be running into?
Are there any animals?
I think that's a no.
I'm just thinking about it. Explain it to me again.
Actually, wait. I've got a better idea. I'd like to use religion. And yell up at the sky at Altius and go, "A little hand, please."
Sure. Okay, go for it.
Oh my god. What the hell? Of course you do this whilst Rhett can't see.
Sure.
And the secret will go to the grave.
Okay. So you yell up to the heavens, and you're like you're running, tears are streaming. This thing is moving after. It's like you're like, it's matching pace with you perfectly. Like it's just it's moving just slightly faster than you are. Like you're like, it could definitely just catch up to me, but it's drawing this out. It's moving just slightly faster than I am to kind of pull it out of you. And like as you move faster, you hear the ticking tempo increase. And then you're legging it, and you can hear this thing hot on your tail, and then you yell up to the heavens, and there is like a moment goes by, and you're like, what? Gods are stupid. They don't exist. And then there's this crack of lightning. And a tree falls behind you, and you hear this like kind of like clockwork like screech as it's kind of temporarily waylaid. So it's the last roll. You need one success before you get one failure.
Okay. I don't know how all the good ones are gone. I don't know how I'm gonna use persuasion. Don't know how I'm gonna use history. It's what you get for making a nerd character.
Do you have any history with these machines?
See, I was wondering about that, but does that count?
Not really. That'll be more of an insight then.
Fuck.
History would be like if you had gone and like researched these things in a library or something. That would be when you could use history. Just past experience with them is something like insight.
How about history of your journey? Is there anything familiar?
Knowledge of where to go, best direction to take.
Forward.
You've not been in this forest before?
History if you put down the forest.
Have you seen the forest when we were perched up on that ledge?
Again, is this history or is this just survival kind of?
Oh yeah.
Gubbins.
History is like book learning.
Yeah,
Book
I'm
learning.
I'm trying to figure out how nature's the only one who's got a decent modifier to it. I just don't know how to use it, even though I am in the forest.
Could you hit
Climb
a
a
tree
tree.
hard enough that the snow falls and disguises you?
Oh.
You follow a bird.
Can I climb a tree with nature? Is that
Yeah, you could climb up a tree with nature, yeah.
Fuck yeah!
After climbing it though.
Well, I mean, it's the last check
The
either
power
way.
of nature.
So
Okay.
Okay. Come on, Jesus, take the wheel here. Jesus!
No.
At the last hurdle. Jesus,
You
why?
didn't climb the tree.
Jesus drove off a cliff.
I don't think you made it.
you have anything you can do?
Is the magic field still up?
Magic field's still up.
So,
Oh no.
You feel like if you made it to the top of the tree, you might have been out of it.
did I fall? What happens with the tree? Do I fall out the tree, or am I just
You
scrambling?
just start climbing the tree.
All right.
You probably start climbing the tree with the expectation that if you manage to get to the top of the tree, you'll kind of because it's probably like that dome, this field. So if you climb up a tree tall enough, then you can get out of the field. But you start climbing up the tree, and you're like, yeah, making good progress. Gonna get to the end of the field, and then you hear this whir of clockwork wings behind you.
And I don't know if this is gonna work. I'd like to try and jump onto the construct and get a piggyback off them.
What? To what end?
Well, I assume he can't slice his own back, surely.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Monkey drop on him.
sure.
Use
How many
that
hit points you got left?
persuasion to get him to fly higher.
Come on, keep going.
Okay, well, so I mean, so you failed the skill challenge, so he's caught you. So it's gonna be initiative.
I'm good at initiative. Where's initiative? There we go. There's no active combat encounter.
Hang on, sorry.
Oh, I don't.
Now do it.
25.
Okay, I guess a
Get
23.
fucked.
Oh wow.
So it's your turn. You can hear this. So you are climbing up. You are up this tree. You are now stuck up a tree, and you can hear the whir of clockwork wings. And you look over your shoulders, and this thing is hovering, just kind of like parallel to you, and it's got its one arm is raised up, and it's about to run you through. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna leap off the tree and try and land on its shoulder and skate around the other side.
Okay. Give us an acrobatics check.
Fall out the tree. Oh dear.
Or athletics if you're doing more of just a brute force.
It's probably more of a brute force thing. No. Did we do anything? Did we do anything prior to coming here?
How do you mean?
Or did we just have a nap? Didn't we?
You just had a map.
Did it rest it? Okay, cool. Then I'll use my +6. Normal +6. So, 18.
18. Okay, that's a good point to cut back to Auburn.
Oh, sorry, 90.
19. So yeah, Malvern, you are standing in the throne room in Morntalos. Guards have just been summoned, and you can see Captain Rylandar and basically the exact same guards that had you before are now entering back into the throne room, coming to restrain you and do something. What are you doing, if anything?
Right. I'm gonna need some. Recollection. On before. Last time I talked to Big Shadow Dragon.
Yeah.
What did he say?
That's a good question. Let me check back my notes. That's not the one I want. So I mean, you spoke to the Shadow Dragon just before you went to the north. Is that the time you're talking about?
Yes. I've actually found what you sent me.
Okay, sure. Yeah, he basically told you today was gonna get real spicy.
Yeah. So the bit that I've had in my head is he says, "Heed the voice in your head, and when the time is right, call on me, and I shall answer."
Mhm.
So, just so you know, my plan is that at some point, I'm gonna talk to this dragon in my head and be like, "Hey, boy, wanna do something and help me out here?"
While you're in
so-
Morntalos.
Yes. So I would probably do that about now.
Sure.
But I would probably also just go along with what they're doing. Because if I try and make a run for it now, and there's no cavalry, then I'm screwed.
Sure. So what do you say to the Shadow Dragon as you try and reach out and make contact with him?
I will say I have heard the voice in my head, which technically isn't a lie because Thera talked to me, and from that I gathered this is not a good idea. I'm not in a good situation. And I would say, does he even have a name?
He does have a name. I'm not sure if you've ever asked it.
Cool. That's the way I like it. I might have just given him a name, but I don't know what it would be. But
Like he might have given you his name, but he's not really the kind of guy to like introduce himself first.
Nah, makes sense. Yeah, I'd probably say you said that today you would help out, and I could use a hand sorting whatever messed up stuff is going on right now.
Sure. So you do your best to reach out and deliver that message, so far as you can. You don't really have any sensation of whether that works or not. But you're like, well, I've done my bit. You are probably you spend enough time around wizards that you are probably also aware that like you're on a different plane right now, and sometimes that can get fucky when you try and contact people via planes and stuff like that. If that makes sense. So there's probably a reasonable argument to say she might not be 100% convinced of success, but certainly you deliver that message so as best you can, and yeah, the guards come and are going to put manacles on you unless you're going to resist or anything.
That's how Malbrin ends. Is she's just gonna get locked up in prison and then game over?
You are the stealthiest motherfucker alive.
I doubt that here. I fully doubt that.
No, man.
Well,
Pretty
just
stealthy.
just because they're stealthy doesn't mean they'll be able to see stealth, you know.
But I'm in their house.
He's in their gaff.
Yeah.
Can't hide in someone else's gaff.
Exactly. It's not how it works.
Do you have any smoke bombs? Disappear like Batman?
I mean, kind of.
Mm.
But I've lost everything. It's all gone.
Have
I
you
don't
lost?
have a cloak, so I can't bugger off in any way I choose. I don't have my weapons, apart from 2 measly daggers.
Niall, do you have the bean?
I mean, maybe I do have the bean. I don't know. I've never.
Bean stuck.
I've
Just
never
right
noticed
through the
it was the
Underdark.
owner of the bean.
Forgot about the beans.
Just swallow the bean.
Maybe I did. I
Just
don't
see
know.
what happens.
Fuck, man. So, how frail does the woman look? Does she look like she could kick some ass?
She doesn't look physically that strong, but she does have this kind of like strength of presence around her that kind of suggests that like you're like, I mean, she's like seems to be the queen of this city. Like, she must be able to throw hands at least a wee bit. Based on you witnessed some guy just get murdered in the streets. So like if it's that ruthless down here, she must kind of she must have a little bit in the tank.
Also, what kind of weapons does it seem people have? Is it melee, or do some people have range?
It's about the average kind of mix that you'd expect in a city. So like most of the guards have swords. You saw some people with bows on the walls. The guards that are coming to restrain you are armed with both sword and also they have bows on them.
Okay, and what is the room like?
It's very large. Like it's probably 80 or 100 feet long, maybe 30 or 40 feet wide. Big pillars lining the sides. Huge opal throne at the back. It's probably like a big red carpet that runs down the middle of it, or a big black carpet that runs down the middle of it, more of a black carpet kind of setup here. And there's a big set of double doors that the guards are coming through. And there's also, you can see like kind of like to the left and right hand sides of the throne room, there are 2 other doors there that seem to lead further into the palace.
So if I was to go for any door right now, how far would I be going to like get to what the closest door would be?
You'd probably go in like probably around about like 60 feet.
Right. One sec.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Can I take an action and deck this woman and take the cloak in the same action? Like in the same turn? Because it's a separate action I wanted to.
So, hang on. So you wanna just take the cloak back as an action?
No.
No.
I want to take it back as a non-action. Or as a bonus action.
It would be a free action if she wasn't holding it. Like if they're just on the ground, you could pick that for free. But she
it
is
would
holding
cost
it.
an action.
That would cost an action to try and take it off, and there'd be a bit of a struggle.
Oh fuck.
If you had some way of not using an action to get her to drop the cloak, then that would be easier.
And
But she's
this
she's
struggle-
she's actively putting the cloak on right now as well.
Oh, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. How far away are the guards?
They're like 30 feet away. Like they'll get to you within this round if you don't move.
And is she right next to me?
She is kind of halfway up the throne right now.
How far is that?
15, 20 feet away.
Right. And if I struggle with her to get the cloak off of her, does that count as an action?
Yeah.
Does it count as an attack?
Yeah, we'd probably use like the rules for like grappling, which would be an attack.
Jake, you're not telling me the words I want to hear.
Sorry. What are the word? What is it you're trying to drive at here?
My
Like, what?
plan is I have Dust of Disappearance that
Sure.
I've had from like year 1, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I've never used it.
Uh-huh.
But when I throw it in the air, me and each creature and object within 10 feet become invisible for 2d4 minutes.
Yep.
If a creature affected by the dust attacks or casts a spell, the invisibility ends for that creature. So I want to throw the dust over myself, the matron, and the cloak,
Uh-huh.
and get the cloak off of her and leg it.
Sure.
Ideally, I would want to be invisible
Uh-huh.
whilst legging it.
Sure.
But the issue seems to be I can't make invisible and get the cloak in the same turn.
Yes. No, you'd have to probably get the cloak first and then go invisible after. So like they might get a round of attacks in.
You know what, YOLO. I'm gonna go up and deck this woman and try and get the cloak off her.
Sure. Okay. So are you just decking it? Like when you say deck, are you just going hands, or are you like pulling one of your emergency knives out and like going to hand on the side?
Might not stab her. Just like kind of side sweep the leg as she's going up the stairs, shove her down, yoink the cloak.
Sure. Okay, well give us an athletics check then.
Athletics. Where are they?
That's not brilliant now. She's probably. Oh, I didn't mean to roll that as mirror. Sure. So you deck this defenseless old woman.
Fantastic.
But so you run up the stairs, sweep the leg. All goes off perfectly. But as you are kind of, she like reaches out and like, catches you on the arm as she's going down, and then like the way she lands pins the cloak under her, so you're trying to yank it off, and like you get like one pauldron off, but she's lying on the cloak and you can't get it out. So you don't, you've decked this woman, but you've not managed to get the cloak back. So the guards are gonna. Do they think you're enough of a badass to actually attack you right now, or are they gonna just run over and be intimidated? A mixture, maybe. Sure. So yeah. So you kick this woman over. Undo one of the pauldrons. She's not got it quite on. You got like a reasonable grip on the cloak, but she's struggling on it, and her weight's on it, so you're not able to get the whole thing off just yet. And you hear the sound of one, maybe two bows being drawn, and the sound of footsteps running up. And these dudes are. They're not going to be able to. They get to you. So like Captain Rylandar and two of his guys, you hear the sound of drawing swords. He's got Palor in his hand, and they close with you, but they don't actually manage to get an attack off before it's your next turn. So there are three guards in melee range with you, and this lady's lying on the cloak that you're trying to get off her, and. Can she do anything? She probably can do something. It would be her turn. What kind of stats would she have? Sorry, 1 minute. Can you make a deck save, please? Okay, so you're gonna take 14 damage. As she, yeah, I guess would it be? Yeah, I forgot your got loads of bullshit in you. Yeah, so this she grabs your arm, and then kind of like divulges this blast of lightning that strikes you in the chest, or would strike you in the chest, but you kind of managed to just swivel out the way, and it's your turn again. So you've just been, this lady just fucking Darth Sidious'd you, and she's lying on your cloak, and there's three dudes around you. What are you doing?
That just made it worse.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna just nip away to the bathroom for a minute, and I will be back in a moment.
Niall, what's happened?
Lads, what the fuck do I do?
What's happened? I was away.
Someone tell me what to do.
Just
fuck?
say it was all a prank, bro, and hopefully she'll buy it.
And then I'm back where I started, but just even worse. I need a solution.
So they have your shit.
I got my shit.
Hmm. And you tried to grab it already.
Tried to grab my shit. She's on my shit.
She's on it. Hmm. Hmm.
I can hug it like a
I should have stabbed her. I should have. Because if
Have
I
you-
stabbed
Stab her now?
her,
Yeah.
no, it's too late now. It's too late now. It's way too late now.
Have you considered killing everyone in the room?
Have I considered being a boss? Yes.
Yeah.
Can I?
No.
No.
A
Oh.
girl
Do you have
boss?
any magic stuff?
I'm fake magic. I don't do that.
I thought you had you could cast darkness or something.
I've got fairy fire. Yay. I mean, I do have darkness, but what was I gonna do?
Make it dark. You just grab your shit and run.
Yeah.
Then I
It's not a
can't
bad
see.
plan.
I'll just fail, and then it'll not be dark anymore, and they'll be like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yo,
Well, look where you want to go first, and then just be like, right, that's the direction.
I won't be able to get my stuff, is what I'm saying. Because I'll be darkness.
Is she sitting on the cloak?
Yeah.
You just fucking pull it out under her like she's a piece of tableware. You're getting the cloth off the table. you know those guys that do that.
do you need a bit of time now?
Yeah.
All right, let's cut back to the church then. So you guys are in the church. Rex just passed out. That is no longer turning to stone. It's there's maybe a little moment is going on as Morgan blinks her eyes open and Lyta's there, looking over with a kind of like a weird stony patch on her cheek that's starting to disappear. And Morgan kind of goes, "What's going on? What happened? Where are we?"
One of you is gonna have to take the lead on this.
She's kind of mostly directing that at Lyta. Where's everyone else? Where's Thea?
Well, we almost all died there, and we had to leave.
So
I think we're in Meriden now.
she kind of sits up.
I sit down.
Sure. She says they're all dead.
I imagine Lady Thea's dead. Hopefully Mir's still alive. Anyone else was still in the camp? I don't know.
She kind of puts her head in her hands and starts to cry.
I'm gonna cast Sending.
Sure, who are you sending?
Sending. Who am I sending? Should I sending Animus? Who last time I tried sending Animus and fucking lady that looks into the future that I never remember the name of. I've written it down somewhere.
Talara.
Hello. I'll sending Animus.
Sure, what do you say?
I'm gonna say we've retreated from Kalheim. Probably many fatalities. It's extremely bad news. Anti-magic field. The betrayer up in action. Clock dudes trying to kill us.
He says, "Where are you now?
Meriden.
Come to the spire."
Okay.
He maybe gives you a wee more than that. Come to the spire. Actually, no. I think he probably just does just say, "Come to the spire." And give my name at the desk, or just come. He just says, "Come to the spire." What's everyone else doing? Reaction unconscious. Yeah. Thea's. Yeah. Give us another death save, Thea. See what happens.
Maybe she gets a net 20.
Maybe.
Get back up. Oh shit, they're still here.
Fuck.
Maybe you can army crawl away.
Just roll down the hill.
Yeah, return of fear. And I'll make it a
Come
whole
on.
Fuck.
Oh, she dead. She dead.
Yo, I'm at 2-1.
Sure.
Oh,
Well, I mean, give us
okay.
another one. It's been a little bit of time.
Go on, Lady Thea.
Oh, it's
That's
not
not
natural. It's not natural.
Okay.
How do I get a plus to save death save?
Constitution?
I guess it is a constitution save. I didn't realize it was a constitution. I didn't think it was.
Me neither. I didn't think it was. I thought it was just a flat D20.
Maybe we've been playing that wrong.
Oh.
I'll write it down and check.
Constitution's like your healthiness.
Yeah, it makes sense for it to be a
Yeah.
constitution save.
Yeah.
Lady Fear survived with 3 death save successes and is now stable, but
Just lying in the stone.
Sure.
Freezing to death.
Yeah, so you're stable but still unconscious, Thea. I do quite want to cut back to scale and see what's going on over there. Check in with Naren and Zorgar because it's been a couple weeks. So when last we had left you guys, you were trying to find a new hideout. What else were you trying to get?
This
Oh God,
music's
it's
so
been a while now, I
relaxing.
don't remember. There was multiple things on the objective list. Find new hideout.
Actually, yeah, this is the wrong music.
No, this is good
Um,
music.
There were 2 meetups we had to attend.
Yeah, those are still in the future. It's still just been one day.
So we might have found a new hideout, but we might
Probably
not.
looking for
Yeah,
new hideout.
give us an investigation check.
Drinking.
I feel like we probably done fuck all.
Where's my boy? There he is.
Where's
What
my
check did you
boy?
say, sorry, Jake?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Oh, it danced on a
Ryan
20
is
there.
probably quite drunk while doing this.
Sure, yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are having a look around, scanning out new hideout. Zarzan would probably be with you as well. So Naren, with your 9, do you guys split up?
Probably not. Since I
Okay.
just
I was gonna say no.
Okay, yeah, Naren, you're not with your 9. You're not especially helpful. Zorgar with the 15 though, you clock an abandoned looking building that looks like, like you've walked past this place a couple times, and no one's really been in, and it sort of seems pretty, like the windows are kind of dusty. Some of them even have that, like, when shops are being renovated, they like smear like white gubbins on the windows. It kind of has that going on. It looks like it's kind of nothing's really happening in there. It's obviously locked, but you can maybe head in there.
Can I try and open the door?
Can you what, sir?
Can I try and open the door? Is it like chained shut or is it just locked?
It's just a regular lock.
Yeah, can I try and open it? Try and break it in some way?
Like kick it in.
Yep, yeah, probably kick it in as the what's what I would do.
Sure, yeah. Okay, give us an athletics check.
You son of a bitch. While I was doing that, Naren's probably got to look around to make sure no one's watching.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, there's a very obvious front entrance, but there's also a back entrance that you kind of get around to in an alleyway. Like the front entrance, yeah, it's like just on like a regular street and people go by. But the back entrance, yeah, it's a smaller door as well, so it's easier to kick in. And yeah, Zargar delivers this swift kick, and the lock kind of splinters. The door stays on the hinges, but just the lock portion kind of snaps, and
what I was
allows
going for.
access into this place.
Yeah. What's it like inside?
It looks like some kind of abandoned workshop. There's like these big blocks of stone. Like it looks like it's like a mason's maybe, or was it
Is
mason's?
is it like ruined, or is it just like it looks like they just shut one day and they never opened?
There's a layer of dust over everything. Everything looks like there's still some tools and things like that.
Yeah.
If there are any tools here that have mechanisms that could seize, they'll have seized. It looks like it's just kind of been left to rot basically.
Yeah.
There's like some
So
birds
no one else
nesting
has
in
been here.
here. Yeah, no one else has been in here.
Since they closed it, it's just been left. So is it like a pretty big room? Or...
Yeah, it's quite a big room. Yeah, it's like a big kind of most of the room is this big workshop space. There's this large rectangular building with kind of like a steeple roof, and there's like glass windows in the skylights, giving a lot of natural light to this place. Like it's big enough that it could have a second floor, but you don't really see a second floor or anything in here. It's basically just one large room, and there's various big kind of chunks of stone. Some of them are have been chiseled. So you're not sure if it's like a mason or maybe like a sculptor works here or something, or worked here. But it's in a good location.
I think it's ours is good.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I'll just ask ours what he thinks.
I mean, it probably seems like a strategically, it's clearly no one comes here. It's in a relatively good location. It's not been compromised or anything. You haven't had any assassins in here, so it's not a bad place. It doesn't have very much in the way of amenities, but it's relatively secure. You could probably repair the door lock easily enough. Would probably be all sort of things that like Zarzan would think, or would cross his appraisal of it.
Where did you go now?
I'm right here. I'm just making sure that no one is like following or watching, because that tends to be a thing that happens. And yeah, I'm just gotta be keeping an eye out.
Okay. We don't really need to do anything else. We're just gonna chill out here, I guess.
Maybe set it up. Make
Yeah,
it
do it.
clean up a little. Maybe have some
I'll, like,
security.
dust down
features.
some stuff.
Sure.
Dust down some surfaces.
So you're kind of just settling into this place?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so you guys maybe I don't know if you have stuff in the other place, but if you have any stuff, you presumably go and get that and ferry it over here, and generally kind of make the place somewhat hospitable. Sorry, go on.
Is this building nearby anything that we should?
It is relatively near to. It's kind of on the northern side of the city, so it's relatively near the front gates.
Right.
So, it as a staging area for holding a siege, you could do a lot worse location-wise. It's close enough to places like the library that you have to go and meet that wizard in and stuff like that.
See the back door.
Yeah.
I assume that leads to an alleyway or something.
Yeah, it leads to there's an alleyway that runs around the side. It looks like it's maybe like a.
Is it a shared alleyway? Is my main point.
A shared
Would
alleyway.
anyone else be going down there? Is there any other back doors along there?
No, it's just a back door. It feels like the sort of place you'd park like a wagon or something for loading up.
Can we identify any other exits and doors and crack those open if they're locked?
There's the main front doors, but those lead onto a general street, so it might actually be somewhat conspicuous if
Don't
people
care
go in
about
and
that
out.
one then. Don't care about that one then.
Otherwise, there are probably some ground floor windows that could be opened up from the inside.
Dan is gonna like try and secure the alleyway a little bit and leave like I don't know, some inconvenient glass and stuff, so there'll be an indicator if someone comes down that way. Or maybe break up some glass to leave
Sure.
some crushed glass.
Yeah, so you probably got a couple of empties at this point that you can smash up and
Nice.
deposit. So you do that. Anything else you guys are doing? Sure.
Card games.
Card games, yeah. So you guys are sitting down for a card game around about mid-afternoon, and it's a perfectly normal time for you guys. And then all of a sudden, you hear this crunching, cracking sound, and from two of the chunks of stone in here emerge these two golden constructs that you've never seen before. They have like a sundial face. They got wings on them. Like whatever sculptor was in here, was sculpting some crazy mad shit. And they kind of burst out of these two, or maybe not. It's not quite as dramatic as a burst, but you hear this crunching sound, and maybe like, what the fuck was that? And there's like this other crunch, and then two of these kind of big slabs of stone that would be sculpted or worked crack and splinter, and out step these two constructs who seem hellbent. One of them seems hellbent on Zorgar, and one of them seems hellbent on Naren for reasons unknown.
Zorgar, we may have taken a place that's already occupied. Sorry, stack shoes will be on the way.
So that seems a good place to cut back to Muir. So Muir, you are kind of freeze-framed, leaping out of the tree onto this construct. Is that right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Okay. And you rolled a 19, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a really stupid idea, but it'll be really funny if it works.
Is that something that needs to be brought up now, or is that something for after
no.
you land?
After I land.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this guy a dex save at DC 19, and if he fails, then you land on his back, and if he succeeds, then you just kind of land on his sword that is coming towards you.
Oh.
Right. How many hit points you got right now?
1.
Okay, yeah. So that's gonna effectively, there's not gonna be any coming back from that, right?
Jesus, come on.
Are you committed to this course of action?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So he needs a 19. So you leap from this tree, and connect with him. You're like, yeah, this is going. You're like, yes, I've got him. I've got the trajectories all lined up, and you're sailing over. You're like, yeah, I'm just gonna hook him around the neck, and then I'll swing around the back, and then you feel this blade slip up and inside through your guts, and your scrapes the side of your spine, and everything goes black, and that seems like probably quite a good place to stop, actually, given it's just gone 10 o'clock right there. And we'll check in with Malbrin and Lida and Muir. Well, Naren is
Muir's corpse.
next session.
Oh, no.
So if you watch the stream, cheers for watching. We'll be back probably not next week, at some point soon, on a Wednesday. So see you then.
Izzy, I'm so sorry.